The flickering glow of the computer screen cast an eerie ambience in my dimly lit room. My eyes were fixated on the virtual apocalypse unfolding before me, a zombie-infested world where survival was a fragile thread and every corner held the promise of a relentless undead horde. I was Jake, the digital survivor in a game that had consumed my nights and weekends. My obsession with zombie apocalypse video games had reached a point where reality blurred with the pixelated landscapes of the undead. I reveled in the adrenaline-fueled rush of escaping virtual hordes, honing my survival skills in a world of make-believe. Little did I know that the line between the digital and the tangible was about to disintegrate. One night, as the clock approached the witching hour, I found myself engrossed in the game, the glow of the screen reflecting in my glazed-over eyes. The air in the room felt charged with an otherworldly energy, and a subtle unease lingered beneath the surface of my digital adventure. My character, armed to the teeth with virtual weapons, explored the desolate landscape of the undead, each corner teeming with pixelated horrors. In the midst of the chaos, I stumbled upon an eerie revelation. The game setting seemed strangely familiar, as if the pixelated streets and dilapidated buildings were lifted from the blueprint of my own game room. I dismissed it as a trick of my imagination, a consequence of spending too many hours immersed in the virtual realm. However, the uncanny resemblance persisted, and a sense of foreboding crept into the periphery of my consciousness. The game room's layout, the placement of furniture, even the details of the wallpaper, it was all eerily mirrored in the pixelated apocalypse. A cold shiver crawled down my spine, and I felt a sudden compulsion to tear my gaze away from the screen. With trepidation, I surveyed my real-world surroundings. The room was unchanged, bathed in the pale glow of the computer screen. Yet, an unsettling awareness lingered, an intangible connection between the game and my reality that defied logical explanation. As I hesitated, grappling with the surreal confluence of the virtual and the tangible, a sudden surge of energy enveloped me. The room seemed to warp and twist, the boundaries between reality and the pixelated game disintegrating like a fragile illusion. Panic seized me as I realized I was no longer a spectator in the virtual apocalypse. I had become an unwitting participant. In the blink of an eye, the transition occurred. The computer screen, once a portal to a digital realm, became a gateway into a nightmarish version of my own game room. The pixelated landscape manifested around me, and I found myself standing in the heart of a zombie-infested reality. The room, now a twisted reflection of its former self, echoed with the guttural moans of the undead. My heart pounded in my chest as I surveyed the pixelated horrors that had transcended the confines of the game. The once familiar furniture now bore the scars of a pixelated apocalypse, and the walls dripped with the digital residue of an unholy invasion. I clutched the virtual weapons at my side, the weight of their pixelated existence strangely tangible in my hands. Panic gave way to determination as I realized the gravity of my situation. I was no longer Jake, the digital survivor. I was a player thrust into a game where the stakes were my own survival. The undead horde descended upon me with a relentless hunger, their pixelated faces contorted in grotesque expressions of hunger and decay. The air was thick with the stench of virtual death as I navigated the maze of pixelated horrors. Every corner held the promise of a pixelated ambush, and the moans of the undead reverberated through the twisted reality I now inhabited. The game mechanics, once a source of entertainment, became a ruthless set of rules governing my survival. I slashed through pixelated zombies, their digital blood splattering across the pixelated floor. The line between reality and the virtual blurred with each swing of my pixelated weapon, and the adrenaline-fueled rush of the game became an unrelenting nightmare. In my desperate attempt to survive, I stumbled upon familiar landmarks, the contours of my real-world game room eerily replicated in the pixelated landscape. The computer screen, now an ominous portal, held the key to my escape. I fought my way through the virtual horrors, inching closer to the source of the pixelated nightmare. As I approached the computer, a dissonant realization struck me. The pixels on the screen held a spectral mirror to the tangible world beyond. The pixelated and the real converged in a surreal dance, and I understood that the escape route lay not only within the digital realm but also in the tangible reality I sought to leave behind. With a surge of determination, I plunged into the screen, the boundary between the virtual and the real disintegrating as I traversed the pixelated threshold. The transition was disorienting, the world around me twisting and contorting with a digital ferocity. I felt the pull of the screen, the pixels engulfing me like a torrential wave. The moment I re-entered the tangible world, I gasped for breath as if emerging from the depths of a virtual ocean. The room, now restored to its mundane state, seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. The pixelated horrors had receded, leaving behind the cold glow of the computer screen as the only testament to the nightmarish ordeal. The weight of my virtual weapons had dissipated, and the room bore no traces of the pixelated invasion. I sat there, surrounded by the familiar contours of reality, grappling with a surreal experience that defied explanation. Had I truly navigated a zombie apocalypse within the confines of my game room, or had it all been an elaborate hallucination fueled by my gaming obsession? As dawn approached, I wearily shut down the computer, the pixels fading into darkness. The room, bathed in the soft light of morning, felt like a haven untouched by the virtual storm. The boundary between the real and the pixelated had been restored, but the echoes of the night lingered, an indelible mark on my perception of reality. In the days that followed, I questioned the nature of my experience. Was it a cautionary tale about the perils of blurring the lines between the virtual and the tangible, or had I stumbled upon a glitch in the fabric of reality itself? The game, once a source of entertainment, now bore the weight of an otherworldly enigma, an enigma that transcended the boundaries of pixels and tangible existence. The zombie apocalypse video game, once a mere pastime, had become a haunting reflection of the fine line that separated the digital from the real. As I returned to the routines of everyday life, I couldn't shake the feeling that the pixelated horrors I had faced lingered in the recesses of my consciousness, a spectral reminder that the games we play can sometimes play us in return. And so, as the glow of the computer screen dimmed with each passing night, I approached my virtual adventures with a newfound awareness. The pixelated landscapes held the allure of escape, but I now understood the importance of keeping one foot firmly planted in the tangible world. The game had given me a glimpse into the abyss that lurked at the intersection of pixels and reality, an abyss where the line between the digital and the tangible became an unpredictable dance, fraught with peril and the haunting echoes of a virtual nightmare.